Hey guys, welcome to Indie Game Hustle. In this video for UModeler X, if you've ever run into an issue with trying to put a hole or create a window into another mesh, let me show you how to do that. Currently, UModeler X doesn't have the push-pull tool like the previous version of UModeler, but until it does have it, there's some workarounds that you can work with. So in this scene here, I have a wall, I have a floor, and I have a mesh here. And so what I did was I basically created a simple mesh and I just duplicated it. And then I went here and I did combine. And so now that gives me one single mesh that I can use for those walls. So basically I'm just gonna go ahead and set the pivot to center. And then so basically you can then move this into position based on where you want, or you can position them before you do the combine. It's up to you. But in this case, I have this mesh now. And here I want to actually put a window or at least a hole so my player can see through it. So the first thing I want to do is actually select the wall or the mesh that I want to put the hole into. Then I want to select the mesh that I'm using to create that hole. So it looks like I have both of those selected, and you can check in your hierarchy to see what you actually have selected, just in case it's not obvious in the scene viewer. So it looks like I have the building walls and the window mesh. So on the right side, you have Boolean. And with Boolean selected, you have an option. You have A, and then you have B. You have the option for union, intersection, subtraction, the other subtraction. And basically A from B and B from A. So because we selected the wall first and then the object that we're going to use to do the subtraction with, we're just going to go ahead and select A, B. So let's go ahead and select that. So once you hit that button, as of the current version of UModeler X, what's going to happen is we have now a new mesh here, and it looks like it's building wall subtraction window mesh, a really long name. Basically, this is the new mesh that was created from doing the Boolean operation. So to see the output, all we need to do right now is turn off the building wall so we can select our old object, turn the eye off there, and turn it off here. Now, you might not want to delete that yet. You want to probably wait to verify that this is the output that you wanted before you actually delete the other objects that you used. So now it looks like we do have some walls here, but we're not quite done yet. There's some cleanup that we might need to do. So what I'm going to do is go in here in my shading mode, and I'm going to switch it to shaded so I don't see all the extra wireframe. Great. And so this is what's left. Now there's some issues that we need to address. If you click here and you move up on this, you will see that there's some vertices and things kind of moving around. And that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is do a Control Z to go back. And the first thing I'm going to do is, before I make any other changes, I'm going to take this whole mesh, select all the verts, and I'm going to go down to where it says weld. Once you click weld, you're going to have a distance property. This distance property is basically saying how close are two vertices when they're next to each other. If they're really far, you're going to have to dial this up. But if we dial it up in this case, we're starting to merge vertices that we didn't intend to. So in most cases, when a vertex is right on top of another and you just can't tell which one is what, then usually you can use like a 2.5 and that should catch anything within that distance. So I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go into my vertices mode or edit mode, and I'm going to select this here, and I'm just going to move it around, and it looks like it worked. So it looks like whatever issues we were having with that particular vertice with doubles and things like that, seems like they're merged, but we're not done just yet. If you look down here, and if I move this up, you'll notice that these pieces aren't necessarily connected. And the reason that is because when we did the Boolean, there was no vertices created for this area of the mesh. And so for us to fix that, what I'm going to do is lift that up just like I did. I'm going to go into insert vertex, and I'm going to put a vert right here, 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 and here. Great. And so what I'm going to do now is move them in the proper position. And because I'm using snap to grid, it's kind of working out pretty good. All right. So now that I move those in position, all we need to do now is merge them. Now, the way that I deal with merging is sometimes you can just select two vertices, hit merge, and you're good. Doesn't matter which one you pick first, but it does. Because what I want is I want this vertice to go down to here. So for instance, if I select this first one and then I select the second one and hit merge, it's going to move that up. And that's not what I actually want. So the way to think about it is select the parent and then select the child. You want the child to move to the parent. So I'm going to click merge just like that and just repeat that all the way across. And now we have that all set up. All right, so now let's go ahead and check our work. Let's move this out. See, that's not bad. So now we have our vertice connected to here. It looks pretty good. But we do have the other side. Now, of course, if your game doesn't have the player going outside, you could probably ignore this. You can even possibly delete the face, but you know, why not go all the way? So what we're going to do is do the same thing. And so now we're good to go. Now there's a couple other cleanup things you can do, but what I want to do is, you see this face here? I don't want this to kind of look like this. So what I'm going to do is select each one of these. I'm going to go down to the remove section and select combine face. And so now what we did is turned all those three individual faces into one. Now let's check some more verts and see if we're running into any issues. All right, it's not too bad. And again, this is all about understanding what happens when you do Boolean operations and then doing some cleanup. You could theoretically delete all of this and do a completely different, approach it a different way. It's just up to you. But if you just need to put a hole into a mesh and do a little bit of cleanup to get the output that you're going for, this will get the job done. All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.